Hey folks, welcome to Hayden B Grilling. Now tonight we're gonna stay in the kitchen. We're gonna make a shepherd's pie. So let's get started. This sucker looks really good. Never made it before. All right folks, when I'm doing a cook, I like to do as much prep work as I can. So in this bowl, we're gonna add 2 teaspoons of parsley, 1 teaspoon of rosemary. Next, we're gonna add a teaspoon of thyme, half a teaspoon of salt, and half a teaspoon of black pepper. All right, now in a skillet, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Then we're gonna set our burner to a medium to medium-high heat. We're gonna let this heat up for 2 minutes at that medium-high heat. All right, now we're gonna add our onion into the skillet, and we're gonna let these cook for about 5 minutes, and we're gonna stir it pretty frequently, but 5 minutes. All right, folks, so our onions have cooked for 5 minutes. Now we're gonna add 1 pound of ground beef into the skillet. What we're gonna do, we're gonna start breaking it up. All right, now that we've gotten this pretty well broken up, those seasonings we mixed together, we're gonna sprinkle that on top of the meat, and we're just gonna keep working the meat, getting that nice and incorporated, and cooking until the meat is cooked through. All right, now that we got our meat browned up, we're gonna add 2 teaspoons of minced garlic. Then we're gonna follow that up with 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. And we're just gonna mix this all in together. And we're gonna cook this for about a minute. All right, next we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. Then we're gonna stir that in nice and well until there's no clumps of your tomato paste left. Now we're slowly gonna add in 2 tablespoons of flour. Pour me a little bit in there. Stir that around, mix it in nice and well. Like I said, 2 tablespoons, and just slowly work it in. All right, next we're gonna add 1 cup of beef broth. Now we're gonna add 1 cup of frozen peas and carrots. Next we're gonna add half a cup of frozen corn. All right, we're letting this come to a little boil, and then we're gonna reduce our heat down to a simmer. We're gonna let it simmer for about 5 minutes or so, stirring occasionally. All right, folks, so that's cooked on simmer for 5 minutes, so we're gonna remove it from the heat. And we're just gonna set it aside and let it stand, or let it sit while we do the next phase. For the next step, we're gonna take 2 large potatoes, and we're gonna peel them, and we're gonna quarter them up. All right, as we quarter a potato up, we're just gonna take it, put it directly into a deep pot. All right, folks, so we put just enough water in the pot to cover the potatoes. We're gonna set our burner to a high, and we're gonna cook these, or bring them to a boil, and then we'll reduce down to simmer until they're tender enough to poke with a fork. All right, folks, so we just drained our potatoes. They were fork tender. We're putting them back in the pot. We're gonna sit for 1 minute. What it's gonna do is evaporate any remaining liquid. So we're just gonna let them sit for that 1 minute. Now we're gonna add a 1/3 cup of half and half, 1 full stick of butter, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of salt, and half a teaspoon of black pepper. All right, now once you got all those ingredients in there, we're just gonna start mashing these potatoes. Folks, we pretty well got our potatoes nice and mashed. So we're gonna come in with 1/4 cup of Parmesan. We're just gonna stir this all around until it's well combined. Now these ain't the smoothest mashed potatoes. They're pretty lumpy, but really good flavor. All right, so what we're gonna do now, we're gonna take a 9x9 baking dish, and I'm gonna put a tray underneath it. That's just so that way when it cooks, if anything bubbles over, it catches it in our tray here. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna take that meat mixture, we're gonna add it into our 9x9 tray. Scrape it all off in there, just like that. And then we're just gonna work this around to where it's as even as possible. Work it down like that. There we go, nice and even-ish, as possible-ish. There we go. All right, next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take those potatoes, we're gonna start taking a pretty big spoon. I'm just gonna scoop them in. And again, we want to try to get this layer as even as possible. I feel like we got that all pretty even, pretty smooth. So we're gonna bake this at 400 degrees for 25 to 30 minutes. We just pulled this out of the oven. The potatoes on top are looking amazing. We're gonna give it about 15 minutes to let it cool, and then we're gonna dig into this thing. All right, folks, so we got it. It's cooled off for about 15 minutes, but we're gonna give it just a little bit of color in here on the top. Sprinkle just a little bit of parsley on top of it here. Looks so pretty. All right, I have not touched this, not once, so I'm just curious. There we go, right through the potatoes. Then I'm gonna come back this way. It's a 9 by 9, right? Sounds like 4 good slices is perfect. Oh yes, 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 yes. There we are, folks. I present to you my first attempt at a shepherd's pie. All right, we know what time it is. All important taste test time. It was so good and tasty, and I got so excited I almost forgot to do the little wrap-up video here. So, a very good meal. You take that first bite, you taste all the flavors in that meat mixture, from the seasonings we put in it, the peas, the carrots, corn, and then that potato really hits you. So, very good meal. Now, prep time, cook time, about an hour, 10 minutes. So this wasn't the quick, easy recipe that I like to try to bring you guys, but it looked too good not to try. And it was very dang good. I'm so glad I tried it. So y'all please give us a try. Y'all let me know what you think of the video. Y'all please like, subscribe, and we'll see y'all later.